So Survivor Series War Games 2023. So we now have the return of one CM Punk back into the fold in WWE, which is a monumental step. We haven't seen him in WWE in almost 10 years. Survivor Series War Games 2023 was a fantastic show. Only thing really to talk about, really, for real, is the two War Games matches, which I thought were both fantastic matches. There was 5 matches on this card. You had Santos Escobar versus Dragon Lee. You had Gunther versus Miz. You had Rhea versus Zoe Stark, and you had the two War Games matchups. Let's kick it off with the women's War Games matchup. We had Team Bianca, which is Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Shotzi, taking on Team Damage Control, which was Bayley, Kairi Sane, Asuka, and the WWE Women's Champ, Io Sky. This was a fantastic match. Everybody in this match had experience outside of Charlotte, I believe, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Charlotte and Kairi, I would say, and they did pretty good.
Kairi might have been in one of NXT. No,
she wasn't. Not. She was gone by the time. I think she was.
Probably
She's on the main roster by the time they started the War Games at NXT.
Probably.
But Becky and Bayley started this matchup, going back to their time on Monday Night Raw when they were feuding when Becky was going against Damage Control. Literally the last time we saw these two in a match was the Steel Cage match on Raw. So I like the look callback. It was pretty cool. It's pretty standard. War Games match is pretty standard. You're going to get everybody who enter in, they bring in a weapon. Standard shit. Kendo stick, chairs, garbage can, trash can lids, the tables, and you name it. I mean, the crowd of Chicago wanted tables for the most part. First person to enter from the babyface team was Shotzi. Team Bianca did have the advantage because they left it up to the fans to vote to see who would have the advantage. So there was no intrigue or surprise there who was going to win that. There's no surprise that Team Bianca won that poll there. But Shotzi came out first. She came in and she immediately went for the toys under the ring. So she brought in the chairs and the garbage can. People thought she was bringing in the tables. When she didn't bring in the tables, they didn't like that at all. They started booing it and shit, which is funny. But you got to give it time, people. You got to give it time. You got to give it time to build up, you know. But Shotzi, I thought Shotzi in this match, she held her own in this match. She took some pretty stiff ass trash can lid shots from Kairi Sane though. I don't know where she got busted open at some point in the match. She got busted open, but I don't know where. Do you know where?
It may have been the I don't know because it was on the other side of her face though, but it may have been the spinning back fist trash can lid strike from Kairi Sane, but I don't know. If not there, I'm not sure because it was on the left hand side of her face, and she pretty much had the blood in the match for the most part. I think Becky might have nose was bleeding or something like that. Pretty physical match.
Yeah.
Carnage, you would say. Pretty good match, I'd say.
Yeah, a couple spots. Couple cool spots to me was obviously Io jumping off the top of the cage with the trash can on her body onto everybody else in the ring. One spot I'm not I was not scared, but just worried was when Charlotte hit the moonsault from the top of the cage on everybody else, and she came down on top of Io's head with her knee. I thought Io was concussed for real, after that spot. But she seemed like she was okay after that.
Yeah, I think she was alright.
Yeah.
I will say I think Michael Cole was selling the match pretty good. I think he was cursing legitly, so I thought I heard an F-bomb when Io went to the top to do the trash can lid dive. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I know it was probably a holy shit in there somewhere. Michael Cole did great on commentary. Shouts out to him for that.
Yeah, no doubt. Michael Cole did his thing. I mean, Cole has been, since Vince has left, Cole, we know, have been a new lease on life. So he's been pretty, he's been 90% good in most of his commentary. So it's not really a surprise there to me. Yeah, man, standard War Games matchup. Lots of bumps, hot spots. Yeah, man.
When The baby faces set up a table, and they put Bailey up on the on the top rope, and Becky Lynch hit her with the manhandle slam, an ugly looking manhandle slam, but that was the finish. 1, 2, 3. Bailey was the MVP, I would say, of this match. I mean, she started the match. Uh, there was a couple of different times she saved every member on her team from being pinned.
Matter of fact, you brought that up. She saved Kyrie before that manhandle slam spot that you just brought up. So that played into the finish there. I like that. But go ahead. Well, damage control lost, and as you know from the predictions, I picked damage control to win. Okay. They got to the way we wanted them to get, with Bailey going to be ushered out of damage control eventually. I just thought they could have still done it if damage control would have won this match as well. Like they could have been like, okay, since we don't brought Oscar and Kyrie into the fold, we're stronger. So we need to get rid of the dead weight and then go after Bailey like that, as opposed to having Bailey take the bullet for Kyrie, the spear from Charlotte. Then after that, everybody hits her with their finishing move, and then Becky finishes off with the manhandle slam to the table to pick up the win for the team. So obviously that's going to lead into some rift between damage control, with them blaming Bailey for the loss and then eventually kicking her out of the group. Ultimately, we got to the same spot we wanted to, but I thought damage control could have won and still got to the same spot.
One thing I will say, I'm not mad either way. I mean, I agree with you on that point too. But them Bailey being pinned and whatever, I think that was still a good way to book the finish. Because I mean, in the end, you can still say Bailey was trying to save her teammates, and then she ultimately sacrificed herself, so they wouldn't have to take the losing fall. And then eventually, it's looking like it's going to build to. Obviously, everybody thinks they're going to kick Bailey out the group. But I mean, if they do that, I'm excited to see what Bailey does. She did post a picture on, I think, Instagram of her and Sasha Banks. So if they do kick Bailey out damage control, I think we may be seeing Sasha Banks come back here. I mean, she is scheduled to be a free agent at the beginning of the year. Then her buddy might need some backup, so that may get SmackDown another huge star back to the women's division with the return of Sasha Banks. So I mean, either way, I mean, let's keep progressing the story and see where we get to. Maybe we can get the Sasha Banks back to WWE here pretty soon, and teaming with her buddy Bailey. So let's see where it goes. I mean, all in all, good match. Funky finish there at the end, but they went out there and do some hard blows, use a lot of weapons, which typically the women's matches need, because they're obviously not the man, but they did great for what they had. And let's see what damage control does from here, and maybe let's see what Becky Lynch and Charlotte do too.
Hey,
we don't know. I mean, they're back together. What's up with Bianca? Where does Bianca go from here? We'll see. So it's on the up and up there.
Honestly, I know people like the weapons in war games, but I feel like this match didn't really need weapons, because the women were good in this match. I would say this is better than the women's war games match from last year. And I'm not saying that the women's war games match from last year was bad. It was good also, but I think this one was a little bit better. So I don't think they really needed weapons, but the weapons was a good touch though, man. But yeah, man, a lot of interesting stories coming out of this one. Bailey is on the cusp of a huge babyface run in the coming months. You can just throw her name into the winning the women's Royal Rumble. You got to at this point. It's just interesting where you're gonna go with her character. Will she go back to the lovable, inflatable buddies that she used to come out with, or will she have a different approach? So it's interesting. So we'll see what happens come SmackDown, man. Next matchup we had was the Intercontinental Championship match with Gunther defending his Intercontinental title against The Miz. And interesting thing, from this whole little build-up, they didn't mention Chris Jericho at all. So when the Miz was making his entrance, they brought up Chris Jericho finally. I don't know how you don't talk about Chris Jericho when you're talking about Intercontinental Championships, when he's tied for first in like the amount of reigns held in history when it comes to Intercontinental Championship. But they brought that up as Miz was making his entrance. So if Miz were to beat Gunther tonight, he will eclipse Jericho as the all-time leader in title reigns for the IC strap. But as you and I both know, that was never going to happen. Although this was a good match, the outcome, like I said in the predictions, was predictable. I just don't see Gunther losing that championship no time soon. Maybe until toward WrestleMania or at WrestleMania or the Rumble. One of those two. One of those three. That's the only time I see Gunther losing that championship. This was a good match though. Miz had a lot of callbacks to like Bret Hart's spots, like his spot where he used the turnbuckles to beat Roddy Piper in that match at WrestleMania for that very same Intercontinental Championship. I like that spot. He also beat Austin with that move. Bret used that move a lot. Miz tried to cheat in the match. He tried to low blow Gunther. But it just goes to show you that everybody who faced Gunther tried to use some underhanded tactic, and Gunther don't even need to use no underhanded tactic to beat no one. Have you noticed that?
I wouldn't say everybody uses underhand tactic, but yeah, his offense is very simple. He could pick up a win with a clothesline. I think, and during his run, he beat someone with a clothesline. I don't know if it was Chad Gable. I think he pinned Drew McIntyre with the power bomb. I think he beat Tommaso Ciampa with just his signature chop. So he's diversifying his offense. So he doesn't really need to, he is the quintessential ring general. Like, he can finish you with any kind of move. Of course, after a long, grueling match, but there was nothing the Miz can do coming in here. He wasn't going to beat Gunther. Gunther's white hot. I don't know what the plan is here in the next 2 months because after last night, we just have to build up until the Royal Rumble. Is Gunther going to drop the title at the Rumble, or is he going to win the Rumble? I don't know. We'll see because Raw got stacked later on in the card, as we'll talk about. So that may put Gunther in a difficult spot, but we'll see where he goes from here. Gunther picks up the win here. In a fairly good match.
Yeah, it was a good match.
The crowd was definitely invested. People do want Gunther to lose the title, but he's just that good. So
yeah, I put I like the finish of the match though. The finish of the match was pretty cool because Miz is working over Gunther's leg the entire match, and Gunther went up for like a splash, but he didn't hit it all the way. And I like the way that Corey Graves presented it on TV and the commentary, how like Gunther, when you're doing a splash, you got to land on your knees in order to do it. And Gunther, he wanted to not land on his knees since his knee's been injured during the match. So I like how Corey Graves covered that up, that awkward landing on the splash that Gunther delivered. But he followed that up with a Lion Tamer and made Miz tap out, which is very fitting because the only person who uses Lion Tamer is Chris Jericho. I like that tie-in. It's pretty cool, and it goes back to your point how he diversifies his finishes. Made Miz tap out with the Lion Tamer. You ain't seen that since Chris Jericho do it, or when Chris Jericho do it, So that was pretty cool. Next match we had was Santos Escobar versus Dragon Lee. This match, good match. The right person won, which was Santos Escobar, but I felt like they should let them go a little bit longer. You know what I mean? Just to get more movements and a lot more chemistry between these two. Cause I feel like these two left a lot undone in this match, that they can showcase to the fans and shit. The fans was hot for Dragon Lee though, but that just shows you how good of a heel Santos Escobar is. With this whole turn on Rey Mysterio, whole turn on LWO, attacking Carlito, attacking Rey, Santos coming into his own. And on the pre-show, Wade Barrett said it perfectly. He said he was never disguising himself to be this good guy. He was always the guy he has always been since NXT, which is a ruthless competitor. So I like when Wade Barrett said that in the pre-show. That's a perfect example of how Santos Escobar is. But Santos Escobar went over. This match is just to set him up for a potential matchup with Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania in the future. My expectation is that Rey Mysterio will return toward the Royal Rumble, maybe eliminate Santos. Then you get the build with them two going into Mania. I don't know where it leaves Dragon Lee though. Maybe a tag team match or some sort around that range. But I'm liking what Triple H is delivering, man. Like he's slowly building storylines for WrestleMania, which is a good thing. Everybody seems to have some sort of direction. And the WrestleMania card looks like it's gonna be stacked pretty like I wouldn't say 12 matches, but a lot of matches with good stories. But Santos, he picked up the win over Dragon Lee. Very good match, but hopefully I want to see more from these two in the future though. Cause I felt like they left a lot of stuff undone in this match. They weren't given enough time, you know. But right man went over. Santos, we both picked Santos. We both picked Gunther in the last match. So what? We sitting at 2-1 at this point. Next match we had was the WWE World Women's Championship matchup with Rhea Ripley defending her championship against Zoe Stark. You want to take this one away?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I'll take it away. So on our predictions, we said, well, me in particular, I know you agree with me in some sense, but I liked how they were building the match a little bit with Rhea not tearing down Zoe Stark in the lead up to her match at Survivor Series, about respecting her run, how she been watching her since she was in NXT. Because Zoe Stark was very good in NXT. She's very good now, like on the main roster. But the problem is, the casual fans just don't take to her. Like they only take to certain people. So in this match, she's put in a babyface spot when she's not. She's literally been a heel since she debuted on the main roster. Then I guess you can call her a babyface at Crown Jewel, but not really a babyface. You know what I'm saying? So she's a tweener in that sense. So she was in a babyface role in this matchup, but the fans weren't going for that shit. They was born everything she was doing in this match and cheering Rhea because everybody loves Rhea, obviously, right?
I wouldn't say she was put in a babyface role though.
What would you say she put in there?
I mean, I think she was a heel just because I mean everybody cheered for Rhea Ripley anyway. So I mean, I wouldn't say she was a babyface. I mean, and she didn't really like deliver moves as a babyface. I mean, you know what I mean? Like she didn't really fight from behind much. She was delivering a lot of offense. I think Rhea Ripley played the babyface a little bit more than Zoe Stark did here. I mean, it was a big physical fight, you know. But I will say Zoe Stark brought it. I hope maybe we get another match out of this. I'm not sure if it's over with yet. Rhea Ripley got the win clean, but I mean, you know, for a good 15 to 20 minutes, it was a good physical fight for sure. Zoe Stark delivered, you know, Rhea Ripley delivered. The fans were invested, so that's all that really matters. Rhea Ripley just wasn't gonna lose. We know that Rhea Ripley ain't losing no time soon. Zoe Stark was just another body just for her to beat, but it was a pretty good match all in all, I'll say.
Okay. Well, I just think the match didn't have no heat. That's just me. They try to pose Zoe as something she's not. Hopefully she'll get there in due time, but she just ain't like credible like as a challenger so far. You know what I mean? Like you ain't really feel like Rhea Ripley's title was in jeopardy. You get what I'm saying? Going against Zoe Stark, I didn't at least. I ain't gonna say.
I get it, but they're only person you'll probably feel that way going against Rhea is probably Becky Lynch. You can't say that for nobody else on the Raw Women's division, right?
That's my point.
So yeah, I mean, yeah. So I mean, either way, it really doesn't matter until we get to probably Mania or something. So I mean, I get what you're saying, but I mean, it is what it is at this point. You just got to the fans have to get invested into every other women's character that's going against Rhea Ripley. Everybody know Rhea Ripley's super strong, so she won't probably get challenged until she faces Becky Lynch. So I mean, just take the matches for what they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, and in prediction, we predicted Rhea Ripley for a reason. We knew it was, but I mean, just invest in the match and see, just watch what's going on. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I mean, you said it ain't a problem, but I think it is a problem when you don't take the other challengers seriously outside of Becky Lynch. That's not to say Triple H he had his work ahead of him. Building these women up. That's all you got to do is build them up to credible challengers for the casual fans. We know how good of a worker Zoe Stark is. That's not putting down her work. I'm just saying, like, it's a problem we don't take them seriously as a contender. That's all I'm saying. But we'll see what Triple H do with them. It's like he's heading somewhere with this division on both rosters. So it's going to take time. We'll see. But it was we knew Rhea was going to win this match. Hands down. So, I mean, it is what it is. But we'll see where Zoe goes from there, man. Next matchup we got is the men's War Games, which is the main event of the night. Drew McIntyre came out first, solo dolo. Back in his word, he's not with the Judgment Day. He's just going against Jey Uso. That's all he wants. That's his main goal, Jey Uso. So Finn Balor and Seth Rollins started this match off. Nice little call back to their program from the summer at SummerSlam for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Seth kicked this match off up with a running suicide dive onto Finn Balor. Just punches and punches. They didn't really bring no weapons in until JD McDonough was the next person to come in after that. He brought in the kendo sticks for him and Finn to use on Seth. Then they pretty much battered Seth until Jey Uso came out there. Jey Uso is over, bro. He's over. He's in so much a better spot than Jimmy is. I feel like they doing Jimmy so wrong, but that's neither here nor there. But Jey Uso came in. He brought in a chair as an equalizer. And the crowd are chanting yeet every time you do a move. I think that's pretty fucking cool if you ask me. Every offensive maneuver he hit was a yeet. So that's pretty dope. So after that we got the time running down. Then Judgment Day was about to come out. A member of the Judgment Day was about to enter the match. Drew McIntyre wanted to enter the match, but Damian Priest held him back and told him to stick to the plan. But Drew told him just like plans has changed, but he said no, not my plan. So stick to the plan. And then Damian Priest came out there, and somewhere I don't know where the fuck Damian Priest got this baton from. He got some sort of baton in the ring and just started hitting Jay and Seth with the baton. I don't know where the fuck he get it from. Where did he get that baton from? Was it inside the cage?
That's my guess. The same way Sami Zayn picked up the pipe, I feel like, because I mean it was real weird because they're like silver, so it was like.
I know where Sammy got the pipe from. I just don't know where he got.
Yeah, I'm just saying though, like that was just a well placed object. I'm saying like a baton usually is black. That one was like silver, so obviously it had to be on the cage at some point. We just didn't see it.
Yeah. So, I don't fucking know.
Because he didn't go into the ring and pick up anything. He just went straight in the ring, and then next thing you know, he got a baton.
Yeah. But he came in there, hit everybody with the baton. And he delivered a whisper in the wind, and Jeff Hardy asked whisper in the wind to Seth Rollins. This then brought out Drew McIntyre. Well, now this brought out Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn and Cody and Sami had a face-off, and they shook hands, and Sami Zayn entered the ring. And Sami, he came in with he got the pipe from inside the steel cage from up top. From he was climbing the cage, and JD McDonough was trying to get him off of it. He took the pipe off the thing where I guess now in the War Games you can stand on that pipe as you're sitting on top of the cage, and they used that on everybody in the cage. Damian Priest, JD McDonough, and the crowd was hot for Sami Zayn. He was the person who actually brought in the tables. So they got him extra over because the fans was craving for these fucking tables. They started chants of fucking Uzi for Sami Zayn. But Sami Zayn, he was on fire, man. Then this proceeded to bring out Drew McIntyre, who he only had one goal in this match, was to beat the shit out of Jey Uso. That's what he did. He literally did a maneuver on Seth Rollins and then went straight to fucking Jey Uso, and they were just fighting on the other side of the ring. And this then brought out Cody Rhodes on the babyface side, and Michael Cole brought up a point to say that Dusty was the one who created War Games, which we all know. And he went out his way to bring up some history that Cody also made in that very same building, which is him talking about the infamous All In show with Cody, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega in Chicago a couple years ago, I think 2019. Cody then brought out the bull rope, which is pretty much paying homage to his pops with the bull rope in the War Games. Seth took the bull rope. This is a nod to their match at Hell in a Cell in 2022? 2021? Somewhere in there. I think it's 2022, right? Their Hell in a Cell match when Cody towards Taylor tendon. And him and Seth was going back and forth about can he trust him. All he needed is one night. And where's the final man? Is he going to be there? Then they proceed to use the cowbell on Finn Balor. This then brought out Dom, which was the final member of the team, of Team Judgment Day. He proceeded to try to do the Three Amigos, but the baby faces wouldn't have it, and they just jumped his ass. They jumped him. And then this ended up, the timer at this point was down in like 5 seconds, and we was all anticipating the return of Randy Orton. But once the timer ended, no Randy Orton. The fans were chanting CM Punk, CM Punk. But no CM Punk. We got Rhea Ripley instead. And she was running down with the Money in the Bank briefcase and the referee. So this was the part of the plan that Damian Priest was talking about to Drew McIntyre. His plan was to cash in on Seth Rollins and become the World Heavyweight Champ. But before they can cash in, all you hear is Randy Orton theme music play, and the crowd goes crazy. We haven't seen Randy Orton in a year and a half, and Randy Orton was looking fucking jacked. He been working on some damn upper body. Yeah, he been bulking. Randy Orton looked jacked, man, and you can tell he was soaking it all in. He was excited to be back after a year and a half out of action, and being told that he shouldn't wrestle no more. He should retire. Like I said in the predictions, I think this would be like his last run, so he gonna get as much out of it as he want. But he came in the match. He delivered a clothesline to JD McDonough, delivered a clothesline to Dom, body slam, vintage Randy Orton shit. Then Finn Balor came in there, gave him the vintage DDT, and the crowd was on their feet. Then we had
didn't they get everybody did DDT, didn't they?
No, that's later. That's later on.
Oh, okay.
That's later on. We had the stare down with him and Drew McIntyre that called back to their feud in 2020, the ambulance match. The match had Clash of Champions, you know, the whole feud back in 2020, the pandemic era. Then is where you get him and doing the DDT everybody to all the Judgment Day members. Randy Orton in the match, we don't talk about the infamous spot in this match. A lot of callbacks to the RKO he gave Evan Bourne. So at this point, all the baby faces have laid out all members of the Judgment Day. JD McDonough is the only one standing out of every member of the Judgment Day. He's the last one. So he tried to climb out the cage, but Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn stops him, and they throw him off the top of the cage onto Randy Orton for the RKO. It rivals the Evan Bourne RKO, but I think Evan Bourne is probably still number one to this day. And that took JD McDonough out the match. He was done. Then Randy Orton handed over Damian Priest to Cody Rhodes, like this is your moment, like a little bit of a pass in the torch. He gave Damian Priest to Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes delivered the crossroads to pick up the win for the 1, 2, 3 for Team Cody, and they defeated the Judgment Day and won WarGames. So in this show, you got, I ain't even mentioned the return of R-Truth. You got R-Truth returning in a backstage segment with the Ruffles advertisement. You got the return of Randy Orton. So at this point, the Chicago fans are pretty much happy, ecstatic with the show. You got two good war game matches, some pretty good undercard matches. But as the baby faces were celebrating, we hear the cult of personality come on, and the place becomes unglued. The place becomes unglued, and we see CM Punk walk out at the end of the show. I like the move, man. I know some people don't like the move. Some people feel like WWE shouldn't have made the move, but as I said at the beginning of the video, if it made money, it made sense. That's always been WWE's model. And we've always seen whoever had a falling out with WWE, they came back eventually. We've seen it with Bruno, we've seen it with Bret Hart, we've seen it with CM Punk. For one, I'm glad he's back, you know, because there's the potential for more matchups. You got the potential with him and Seth, potential with him and Roman, potential with him and Randy, him and Cody, etc. Like the list can keep going on and on, right? And he could potentially be in the main event of WrestleMania. Now, you gotta throw him as in top 3 to win the Rumble. CM Punk to win the Rumble. That's huge, isn't it? And me and you talked about it. It's a different locker room, different environment. WB is different from AEW. None of that shit he did in AEW will fly in WWE. I think he knows that. Um, so it's definitely ran, and I don't think he's gonna work like an every week schedule. I think he's gonna be. I won't say a Roman schedule. I say he'll probably have like a Brock Lesnar type of schedule, to where he worked the core pay-per-views and appear sporadically, just so you can manage him, because we know he had these injuries the past couple of years in AEW. So I like the move, man. It's a great potential, make money. It makes sense. It's a great business move for WWE. I see the positives. What's your take on it?
It just opens up a lot of interesting prospects, different matches, uh, maybe a potential to win a Royal Rumble. I still wouldn't do that personally, but because we got to find a way to get Cody and Roman Reigns. I don't know how we do that. But as long as we take care of that first, and then we see what CM Punk is going to do. I was hoping for Gunther, but CM Punk and Randy Orton came back too, so who knows, man. Raw is looking good. The list of baby faces, pretty much, we haven't had this level of baby faces that are like pretty much over, that the fans cheer for in a long time. I couldn't remember back when. I mean, it's at least seven deep, maybe, you know. Um, but CM Punk coming back, I think, is good for WWE, good for the fans. Probably be good for him to find the love back of wrestling. And Triple H is running the show now. It's not Vince McMahon, so it might not be more of the same. Tired of ship, so a lot of the stuff that happened in AEW won't be happening at all. They have a system in place for things like that, and let's just enjoy this stuff while we can. See what CM Punk does going into WrestleMania. See what Randy Orton does. See what Seth Rollins does, and Gunther going into the biggest show of the year. I see a lot of people thinking we may get Rollins and Punk for night one main event, and then Cody and Roman. I don't know. We'll see. But let's let Cody Rhodes finish the story first before CM Punk or Randy Orton or anybody else gets a crack at any world title. As long as Cody Rhodes' road, no pun intended, is still to defeat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, then we let everything else shape around that. But
I think it will. I think it will. I don't think nothing's deterring the Roman versus Cody match at Mania. I think that's the match to go. That's the main event for Mania. Just about how we get there. We seen Cody show up on SmackDown here and there with the GM Nick Aldis. You never know. They can throw anything. It's WWE, so I wouldn't be surprised. But Survivor Series WarGames 2023, great show. Lots and lots of returns, surprises. The crowd made it awesome. Go out your way to watch the show, man. I would say this is probably one of the best war game matches for both woman and man that WWE has put on. So that's our review of Survivor Series 2023 War Games. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe down below. And we're going to see you guys in the next video. We out.